course, over the last 20 years has experienced different phases, from an export-led economy to infrastructure investment-led economy to today we centered around consumer-oriented economy and eventually going to the smart digital economy. Over the last few years, we have more and more Chinese enterprises, and we see very different organization strengths and changes. For example, the multinational company has changed also from a trading business nature towards a business that has invested heavily on the R&D. For example, the automotive tier one, the OEMs, they have started to develop products, functions that are designed and purposely for the Chinese customer. In terms of leadership, multinational also has gone through a different organization change and leadership localization. So that's an interesting shift and change on the multinational client side. Now, when we look at the Chinese companies, they have a very different journey in terms of organization and leadership. At the beginning, Chinese clients emphasize a lot of the organization focus in terms of fighting for market share, develop the right products to serve the market. Over the past few years, Chinese companies started to develop or pay attention to upgrade the organization capability and the leadership skills as well. The second change we observe with Chinese company is their overseas expansion. Last week, Fortune magazine announced the top 50 most admired companies. The top 5 names are Huawei, Xiaomi, Sanyi, Alibaba, and Shunfeng SF Express. One of the characteristics about these 5 players is their international business establishment. As such, the needs for talent that can bring new success, expansion in the global market becomes emerging. The Chinese company now starts to focus on 2 different things. For example, they will upgrade the organization capability by bringing professional leaders and managers to build up the process, system, structure so they can compete in a sustainable manner. In the past, we see many new startups that use technology to disrupt the traditional business. Talent to serve these kind of startup companies has a different set of skills. For example, they're very innovative, they're very agile, and they have a very different entrepreneurial thinking and mentality in order to be able to deliver in this kind of organization. There's a growing trend that companies are hiring more and more female executives. In fact, the clients now have asked us to provide female candidates with each shortlist. We need to have at least 1 or 2 strong female talent to form a real shortlist. This becomes a mandatory requirement, not optional, which is a new trend. For example, I also lead the supply chain. Those strong supply chain leaders, if they are female, they tend to be much strategic, collaborative, and influencing compared with male supply chain leaders. Ferry did a survey with board member representatives. China, compared with other peer countries in Asia Pacific, ranked number 3rd in terms of female representations at the board level. With the US and China trade tension, companies that had an export-oriented business model started to move outside of China. However, those companies that are in China has continued invested aggressively in China and crafted a China for China strategy. Meanwhile, it also gives Chinese enterprises an opportunity to go abroad, so they still become as suppliers, but not China-based, that could be based outside of a different market. So China companies now has more opportunity to become an international company.